It's a Saturday afternoon, and you're standing in the kitchen holding a plate you just brought to a small get-together. People are talking in clusters. Someone laughs loudly across the room. You smile, nod, say a few words, and then you feel it. That slight drop in your stomach. Like you're present, but not fully inside the moment. You look around and wonder, quietly, why does it feel like everyone else fits more easily than I do? What you may be feeling is belonging doubt, the quiet sense that you don't quite have a place, even when you're technically included. In this video, I want to slow down and look at why that feeling shows up, what it often grows from, and one or two small ways to steady yourself when it does. Belonging doubt is when you're physically in the room, part of the group, part of the family, part of the team, but internally, you're not convinced you're really meant to be there. You question your tone, your timing, your reactions. You scan for signs that you're slightly off. And even when nothing obvious is wrong, something still feels unsettled. One common reason is growing up feeling like you had to adjust yourself to be accepted. It doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle. Maybe you learned to be the easy one, the quiet one, the helpful one. Maybe certain parts of you were welcomed, and others were gently corrected or ignored. Over time, your mind may have learned that belonging comes from shaping yourself to fit what's already there. So later in life, when you enter new spaces, you don't just show up, you measure. You watch. You edit yourself in real time. And instead of asking, do I like it here? You're asking, am I acceptable here? Sometimes, it comes from moving between different worlds that don't fully overlap. For a lot of people, life isn't one clean identity. You might speak one way at work and another with family. You might carry cultural values at home that don't match the social setting you're in. You might feel older than your friends in some ways, and younger in others. When you've spent years shifting between versions of yourself, it can get hard to know which one is fully you. So you step into a room and think, which version belongs here? And instead of feeling grounded, you feel split. Present, but slightly out of sync. Over time, another layer shows up when you've experienced small rejections that stuck longer than they seemed to. A friend group that slowly drifted without explanation. A job you didn't get after thinking you were a good fit. A relationship where you felt like too much, or not enough. Even if you moved on, your body may still remember what it felt like to be quietly excluded. So now, when someone pauses before responding, or when plans change, your mind fills in the gap. It whispers, this is how it starts. And even if that story isn't accurate, it feels familiar. Familiar stories can feel true. Picture this. It's a weekday evening, around 7:15. You're sitting at a long table at a restaurant with coworkers. The lighting is warm. Plates are half finished. The conversation shifts to weekend plans, and someone asks what you did last Saturday. You answer. It's simple. Nothing dramatic. The table moves on quickly. And suddenly, your chest feels tight. Was that boring? Did I say too much? Not enough? Should I have made it funnier? You replay the tone of your voice. You notice who made eye contact and who didn't. You start tracking yourself instead of being there. If you've been there, you're not strange. You might know someone who lives like this. This is what belonging doubt can look like when it's quiet. It doesn't scream that you're unwanted. It just keeps asking for reassurance that you're not slightly outside the circle. And here's something that often gets missed. Belonging isn't only about whether other people accept you. It's also about whether you feel safe being seen as you are. If your system learned that acceptance depends on adjustment, then belonging will always feel conditional. You'll look for proof before you relax. There's a small shift that can help in moments like that. Instead of scanning the room for signs about you, gently turn one question around. Do I feel comfortable with how I showed up? Not perfect. Not impressive. Just honest. Then answer with two real observations. Maybe, I spoke clearly. Or, I shared what was true. Keep it simple. Concrete. This works because it brings your attention back to something you can actually know, your own intention. It may not erase the uneasy feeling, but it can steady it. It reminds you that belonging is not only something granted from the outside. It's also something you experience from the inside. Another quiet practice is to notice when you're shape-shifting too fast. Maybe you laugh a little harder than you meant to. Maybe you agree before you've checked if you actually do. Maybe you soften your opinion the second someone looks unsure. Instead of judging that reflex, just name it in your head, I'm adjusting. That tiny sentence can slow the pattern. It creates a small gap between you and the automatic shift. Over time, those gaps can help you see that not every room requires you to shrink or stretch. Some rooms can hold your natural size. Because sometimes this doubt isn't a flaw. Sometimes it's your mind trying to protect you from exclusion. It learned, at some point, that belonging felt fragile. So it stays alert. But constant alertness is tiring. When you feel like you don't belong, it can affect more than social moments. It can shape your choices. You might hold back ideas at work, even when you've thought them through. You might hesitate to join groups you're genuinely interested in. You might stay quiet about preferences, because it feels easier to blend than to risk standing out. It can also show up in relationships. You might over-explain yourself. Apologize for taking up time. Wait for the other person to confirm they still care, even when nothing has changed. And on the outside, you can look completely fine. Functional. Friendly. Capable. Inside, you're checking. Belonging doubt doesn't always mean you're in the wrong place. Sometimes it means your system hasn't fully caught up with the present. It's still operating on old data. Old rooms. Old reactions. There's another small thing you can try when the feeling rises. Instead of asking, "Do they like me?" experiment with, "Do I like how this space feels?" Notice your body. Is it tense because you're bracing? Or because something genuinely feels off? There's a difference. The first one is old protection. The second one is information. This question gently shifts the power dynamic. It moves you from being evaluated to being aware. It doesn't guarantee comfort, but it invites self-trust back into the room. And self-trust is often what belonging doubt quietly erodes. You don't have to become louder or more confident to belong. You don't have to perform ease. In many cases, the people around you aren't measuring you as closely as you're measuring yourself. They're managing their own inner questions. This is for people who can be surrounded by others and still feel slightly alone. For people who replay conversations long after everyone else has moved on. For people who look steady on the outside but keep checking inside. If you've been wondering why you feel like there's no place that fully fits, it may not mean you're flawed. It may mean you learn to adapt before you learn to rest in yourself. Belonging can grow slowly, in spaces where you don't have to edit every sentence. It can start with one moment where you let a thought land without correcting it. One conversation where you don't scan for approval afterward. You're not strange for feeling this. You're not dramatic. You're someone whose mind is trying to stay safe in a world that doesn't always make belonging simple. And sometimes, just naming that pattern is enough to soften it a little. If this kind of quiet reflection helps you make sense of things, you're welcome to stay here for more conversations like this.